I've been here for the last 2 weeks with my mum and with my brother, and today they have taken off to Tokyo to continue their travelling, and I am here for a day by myself before I head to the airport tomorrow to fly to Abu Dhabi for our next season of Beetlejuice. I thought that I would bring you along with me for the night while I do some editing and do some filming while the sun is still up. It is very noisy in the middle of Hanoi, which is where I'm staying. Today I've got to film a little bit of a video, like I just said. I want to do a bunch of editing. I have had the absolute joy and pleasure of the editing software that I normally use not being available to me now that I've come overseas, so I need to not only edit but figure out how to use an entirely new software. With the last little bit of sun that we've got, even though this apartment is very dark anyway, so I'm not sure how much of a difference it will make, I need to film a little bit of an intro for a video. And then tonight I am planning on editing. I need to go get something to eat before the sun goes down, just because I don't really want to be out once it gets dark. I just want to be home and settle in for a nice night in. I have to shuffle around some of my packing for the flight to Abu Dhabi because I had to get another little suitcase because Rish and I got suits made here, which I'm not going to show you because you will see them in photos and videos in Abu Dhabi. I just want to rest today, knowing that once I touch down in Abu Dhabi, I'm going to be full speed ahead into Beetlejuice bump in and filming, and I want to get ahead a little bit on my videos across Patreon and YouTube. I want to do a bunch of editing tonight. I figured I would bring you along for my cozy night in Hanoi, Vietnam by myself, and then tomorrow I will take you along while I head to the airport to fly to Abu Dhabi. I am home. I made it. I had some food. I had ramen because I spoke to my mum and my brother who've just landed in Tokyo and got into their accommodation, and they were talking about how they were going to go for ramen, so I got jealous and went and got my own ramen. One of the things that I have to do tonight before I just get comfy and just start editing and eating snacks is shuffle around my suitcase packing. I bought another little suitcase, this one right here. I'm going to put the suits into my big suitcase and move some stuff from the big suitcase over into the small one. Vietnam has taught me anything, it's that I have never until now experienced true humidity because, oh my God, it's been pretty chill while we've been here. But today says it's 25 degrees, but it feels like walking into an oven outside. It is disgusting. Feeling very grateful that it hasn't been warm like this while we've been here, even if it has been raining. But I need to leave this Airbnb in just over an hour. I'm just finishing up my packing. But before I did that, I wanted to show you the little souvenirs that I got while I was here. I like a practical souvenir. I like something you can actually use, but there's also a couple of little things that I do try and get everywhere I go as like part of a collection. One of them is magnets. I love a tacky magnet, a fridge magnet situation. I love a book in the language of the place that I'm traveling to. That was very hard to find when I was in Abu Dhabi last time. I ended up finding something in Arabic, but it was difficult. Here, I managed to find something really cool. And I also just like artwork as well, if I can find artwork. So I actually managed to find all of those things while I was here. Vietnam is the kind of place where like you could just buy any and everything if you wanted to. The one thing that I really dropped money on while I was here that is not technically a souvenir from here, but that is an opportunity that I could not pass up, was a bottle of Whispers in the Library from Replica. This is my all-time favorite perfume of all time. And a few months ago when I ran out of my last one, I went to go and buy a new bottle and learnt that it has been discontinued. Every single place that I have gone, I have tried to look for it and I cannot find it because it has been discontinued. And while we were just walking around, we went into this like perfume shop and they had a sample bottle on display. And I immediately freaked out and was like, do you actually have this in stock? And they said, we have one final bottle left. They sold it to me. Did I spend over 200 Australian dollars on something while I was here? Yes. Does that feel excessive? Yes. Do I regret it? Absolutely not. This is now going to be just like my absolute special occasion perfume. I'm so happy that I found it. In the vein of tacky magnets, I got this one, which is a can and a bottle opener from Train Street. Train Street is a very, very common like tourist experience thing to do here in Hanoi, where a train runs down this alley full of cafes and you can be sitting like within a meter of the train as it goes past. There were lots of people selling little trinkets and stuff walking down through there while we were waiting for the train to come, and I just thought this one was cute. They were really nice, so I was happy to buy it and add to my little magnet collection. The next magnet that I bought, the only other magnet that I bought, if you walk around Vietnam, you will often see people smoking these big pipes that are full of tobacco. I think it is a cat covered in tattoos who's sitting on a little plastic stool, which again are everywhere here, and smoking one of those little pipes. And it's just so cute. Look at him with his little pipe. I went into a journaling like stationery store to get some envelopes and things for the Patreon Tour Tales tier monthly letters that I sent out from Vietnam earlier in the month. And I found these little post-it notes that are also little books. I got it in the yellow and in the purple. The intention that I have with these is that Ella and Adrian, who you've seen on the channel before, also on the podcast as well, they are starting a little like traveling journal activity with me where we're going to send each other journals every month while we're apart and in different places or on tour. So that was my intention for those. Those would be really good to put in there. I got this little notebook from one of the bookstores here. I think it was Bookworm Hanoi, which was really old and really cute. From the night market, I bought a pack of... Get away. You are enormous. Get away. From the night market, I bought a pack of chopsticks, which I've left in the packaging for when I have to declare it coming back through Australia. And I also got a couple of little, like, ceramic holders to sit them on. They're shaped like a cat and like a panda, and they were very cute. One for me, one for Ish. We went into this absolutely massive ceramic store that just had endless plates and mugs and bowls and cups and anything you could think of. And I found a tiny little dish that had a little painted pony on it. For those who don't know, I grew up in the country, and I, growing up, had a Shetland pony named Boots, who was everything to me, and it just looked like him, like it had his exact body shape, so I bought it because it reminded me of my horse. I also got a little matching spoon to go with it as well. I got a couple of little souvenirs and stuff for other people as well. One of them, which was really cool that I wanted to show you, is one that I got for Rish. It's a little dice shaker. I think it's leather, and it is made here in Vietnam. It's a cup, you put your dice in, you shake it, you tip the dice out. If you didn't know from watching the videos, he is a D&D player, and having just like dice accessories, you can never go wrong. I just thought it was like a cool souvenir to have that is actually practical and he'll get a lot of use out of. Speaking of my man, when he was in London last year, one of the things that he brought home for me was a rubber duck that had a little Spider-Man suit on. And then I saw this wood-carved bear who was wearing a little Spider-Man suit, and I decided that this is now a tradition because it's just so cute. The book that I picked up while I was here, it's still in plastic film, sorry for the reflection, I don't want to take it out until I get home, was I got a copy of Pan's Labyrinth in Vietnamese. It is so pretty. The artwork inside is so beautiful. I will show it on Patreon when I get back to Australia in more depth. I just don't want to unwrap it for the traveling that I have to do with it. The last thing that I got is an artwork. If you are in Vietnam, you will walk around and you will see a store called, I don't know if it's in other cities, I'm sure it is, but it's at least everywhere here in Hanoi. There is a store called Tired City. They have shirts, they have prints, they have tote bags, they have all of these different kinds of artworks created by Vietnamese artists, and then they just print them mass on these souvenirs, and I believe the funding for them goes directly to these artists. There was one artwork in particular, the first time we ever went into one, that caught my eye. It is an artwork of a young Vietnamese girl holding grenades. It's a beautiful artwork. The money for it goes straight to a Vietnamese artist. I loved what it was about, and it also has relevance to the history of Vietnam as well. It just ticked a lot of boxes of interest. For those who don't know, if you want to have a look into the history of Vietnam, it's very interesting. I had never really looked that deeply into it. I'd always heard about the Vietnam War, but I didn't really know a lot about it. And being here and coming here really inspired me to look deeper into it. Again, this is covered in a film that I'm not going to take off it, so it might be a little reflective, but I'll try and show you. As one of 10 artworks in 10 Vietnamese Women project, this work honours a schoolgirl who fought as a guerrilla against colonists in French-occupied Vietnam. She was merely 14 when she threw a grenade at a group of French soldiers, killing one and injuring 12. She escaped without punishment, but was less lucky 4 years later when she threw a dud grenade at a high-ranking official responsible for the execution of Viet Minh sympathisers. At the age of 19, she was captured and executed by the French on Con Son Island, her refusal to wear a blindfold establishing her as a martyr and igniting her following in modern-day Vietnam. And then there's a little bit about the artist as well, saying that she is an award-winning illustrator who's been honoured in major national and international magazines. Her work often features bold colours combined with unique cultural stories. And that's the souvenirs that I got while I was here. Now that all of my stuff's packed up, let me give you a little tour of the little accommodation we've been staying in this week. So, you come up through this elevator, which is like in a shop. It goes downstairs into a restaurant. In here, there is another bedroom. It's locked at the moment. I don't want to unlock it, but that's where my brother slept, so that was his room. And then in here is the little lounge room. There's a little balcony. There's also a balcony out on the other bedroom that was locked. We had a projector, comfy lounge, little kitchenette area, more kitchen things. This is like the main bedroom. There's a little desk, a little lounge, big mirror, the big bathroom, and then the bed. The shower flooded all the time, which was a really big pain in our ass, but really cute place, very cute. It's definitely the biggest place we stayed while we were here. Airport. I'm just doing some little research on some stuff that I want to do in Abu Dhabi while we're there. I've been at the airport for a few hours now. I haven't been able to check into my flight, but I can do that in half an hour because it will then finally be 3 hours until my flight, which is great. I've just been editing and trying to eat and feel better because I felt like absolute garbage this morning. Plans for the actual flight are to sleep and edit if I am awake enough. I'm finding it really hard to edit on flights at the moment, so I need to get better at that.